Is the camera showing Justin's shoes?
Uh,
Look at them. They're
they do
just
a cut
sewn
to
on
them,
you.
I know. But
It's like you came in with the legs of a policeman.
It's his confirmation day.
Yes, it is.
I had to be in a meeting today where I needed to wear appropriate footwear.
I've no change for you, love. But if you come around to the house tomorrow with your mammy,
That sounds so dirty.
once I can see the rosette, but it is considering we're brothers. Welcome to Not So Christian Brothers. Here we go. So to all of those people who still haven't liked, subscribed, because it's funny, we're getting great engagement on our social, but we really need to. This plant is touching me. We really need to.
Maybe it knows that you need a little bit of, TLC, a little bit of connection.
Well, I don't know.
Hands-on is. I was reading this recently, right? But getting human contact and hands on your body, right?
Okay, I like where this is going.
Is something that is quite often lacking, right? In kind of long-term relationships and stuff, even like sex can become quite transactional. And then I was reading this article about why it's really helpful for people to have a massage, because often you don't get that kind of caring.
Right.
Not that your masseuse is caring, but actually the feedback that you get from having somebody gently caressing your body. And this sounds awful, right? I'm digging a big hole here.
I feel you're going to start handing out cards now for a good time.
if he starts opening the rest of his shirt buttons, we have to worry.
And I've just started a new masseuse business here in Greystones, right?
The Not So Christian Brothers bottle.
But yeah. But I think human touch and being tactile is something that we forget. Actually, there's so much value attached to that.
Yeah,
and I know you're probably not being touched a lot at the moment. So if you need me to touch you, I'm here for you, big boy.
You're not the sort of touch I need. I just was thinking of that as well, and I was watching Jack Nicholson over the weekend. Holly's now big into Jack Nicholson, so we've done Something's Got to Give, As Good as It Gets, and I want to bring her down to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But As Good as It Gets, there's a great scene where he just walks out of his analyst and into this waiting room, and he just looks at everyone in the waiting room and he just goes, is this as good as it gets? And then just walks out. And you can see them all looking, going, I don't know, we're all paying a lot of money here. And then I saw Kim Cattrall getting married for the 4th time this week. And I'm thinking, there's been 3 major times in her life when she's questioned, is this as good as it gets? And she's answered it no. So she chucks out, well, I don't know how the previous 3 marriages ended. I don't know whether it was her or him, but clearly there was a problem. And on she goes. And it's like, I can't imagine getting married, even in my position now, getting married for a second time. Obviously, it's only recently since Anne passed. And if I had an announcement to
I think
make...
you were saying now you were getting married, and they'd be a bit suspicious about where that person was when Anne passed.
But I can't even, come on, once is enough, really, isn't it?
Would you do it over again?
I don't think so. No, I not that I don't think so. I know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't have it in my heart and soul to commit to somebody again. But the way you have to in a marriage.
Yeah,
I think though, in real terms, you can only but play the ball that's immediately in front of you, right? So everybody can say, I'm not going to do this, that, or the other, but until the moment arrives. When I met my wife, she was, 3 years divorced. She absolutely was never going to get married again, and she did.
Jesus, look who she met.
I know, and she's regretting it ever since. But I think you have to kind of measure where you are at any one moment, and it's really down to the quality of the person that you meet, and you don't know what that quality is until you meet them.
Yeah, but does your door not need to be open?
I don't think so. I think you just have to accept that whatever happens in the context of that interaction is going to be key.
Same parents, different timelines, and united by chaos. Strap on, strap in, for the Not-So-Christian Brothers.
I watched a fantastic movie. Really enjoyed it over the weekend because I needed a bit of kind of de-pacing of my life for a few hours. Decompression. New George Clooney movie out.
Oh, I've heard that's really good.
What's it called?
It's the one where he's an aging actor, isn't he?
Jay Kelly.
Jay Kelly.
Yeah, Jay Kelly.
Yeah,
Excellent,
it looks good.
Is that in the cinema?
No, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's really good, right? So it's an insight to an actor, and it's quite interesting because obviously Clooney is an actor coming to a time in his life. He's in his 60s. He's no longer, in vogue to the same way he was in his 40s or 30s or 50s. And he's dealing with his agent, who is like his best mate, in inverted commas. And he's going for an award. So, the whole context of the show is that when you get to the award, it's like a footballer's testimonial, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're kind of done.
An honorary
anyway.
award as such, almost,
It's like, and the whole, revelation for him is that as he's going to that award ceremony, there ain't anybody else going with him because he spent his whole life focused on his career. And he hasn't then developed a relationship with his kids and even his father, right? I mean, his father walks out on him. So I think we have to look at life through the lens of experiences. And it's like that interactions with your kids, with your friends, with anybody is what's most important. And if a great interaction means that you meet somebody, then super. But as Clooney is kind of figuring out in this movie, you're just too busy not to pay attention to meet those folks.
Yep.
And as a consequence, you're going to die, and you're going to die alone and miserable.
He was talking about that actually he was being interviewed on Dermot O'Leary on BBC Radio 2, and he was saying that he knows a lot of his mates, he didn't name any of them, that have actor mates that have invested so much time on getting the success. And it could take 30 years. And he said in his business, you got to be so used to failure because there's so much of it in the business. But he invests so much time to get to the success, throws so much out to get there. You get there, you're successful, and as you say, there's nobody to share. If you don't have anybody to share stuff with, then obviously
but you can be very lonely in a relationship too.
You can.
I don't know if it's the be all either.
I mean, I had a long 35 years marriage. I don't honestly believe I could ever marry again. And I mean, I know it's very new and raw, but I just don't want to be in that position again. And that's not saying I was unhappy in that position. I was very happy in that position. But I just don't want to be in there. It's hard to explain when.
Well, I'll happily take a £500 wager with you now.
£500, but you don't make it euros.
Euros, sorry, I've been talking pounds for days. I'll take a €500 wager with you now.
Yeah.
That you will meet somebody else and you will be in a relationship.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said I won't marry them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are you whinging about? That's like
No, I'm not whinging.
signing a contract.
I'm thinking about Kim Cattrall, who's in marriage number 4, and I'm just wondering. There are some people that go through 6, 7, 8 marriages. I mean, they are really just relationships that they jumped into marriage.
Exactly. I think that's an Americanism for a start, that there's a very flippant approach to marriage. For me, personally speaking, I'm not in any way casting dispersions on anybody who may or may not have been divorced or separated, including my dear wife. But I've always thought from the get-go that if I get married, I'm in for the good. I didn't want to do it again. But equally, if my marriage was at a point where I felt there wasn't equality, and I didn't feel like we were in love with each other or excited to be around each other, I'd be the first one to say to Beatrice, "Look, we got to talk about either being in therapy or ending our relationship," because I don't buy into any of this stuff. You complete me, I complete you. I'm a whole individual. She's a whole individual, and we're whole on our own or together. If we're together, then 1 and 1 should be 2, so it's better. But I think relationships are hard work.
Yeah.
And if it's not working, get out.
I find it slightly simplistic.
Well,
quite scientifically logical.
I think it's
but there's so much more at
because
play.
So the challenge of it is, if you're not willing to be honest about how you feel, you're not willing to have really hard conversations. Often there's a financial challenge in terms of separating. But, that's what separate bedrooms are for. But I just think, why are you going to go through life carrying somebody else or a pain in your life that you don't need to? I just don't understand the point. And if somebody could write in and tell us why they think you have to do that. A letter.
Yeah,
from P.O. box.
Yeah.
But I also don't even think like it's for the kids. It's not. But I speak to loads of people who were kids of parents who had relationships where they pretended that everything was okay with the kids. Kids can sense stuff from the time they're 2.
I don't know if you wouldn't remember them, but I made a mine in school. I won't name him. So obviously, for financial reasons, various reasons, the parents stayed together and lived in the same house, and they spoke to each other through the kids. And because it was about 3 or 4 years down the road, the kids were fine with it. They come to terms with it. But when you called around for something to eat, the mother would come out and go, Brian, will you tell your dad that his dinner is now ready? And Dad was sitting right beside him, and he'd go, Dad, Mum said your dinner's ready. And he'd go, yeah, just tell her I'm just finishing this crossword. I'll be with him in 30 seconds. Which in 30 seconds. And you're sitting there going, this is bizarre. And they stayed together. But like, for what, for where, for when? Maybe that's the way their relationship worked or didn't. But I do believe that we're not completely honest to anybody.
Were they unhappily happy though?
Yeah. Maybe the only person here, I don't know. What was I? I was sorry. I was listening to Louis Theroux.
This isn't a point about being honest. I think the only person you have to be honest with is yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're in something that's shit, get out.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm going to go back to one of my standards at the moment, which is Louis Theroux, right? And he's interviewing Sean Penn. Yeah, I've just started the one with Baz Luhrmann, which is unbelievable.
Met Sean Penn in Greystones.
Did you?
Yeah.
What's your point? I thought he was over there.
He was up there. He was actually up the half pair. He was up the road there.
He's behind the curtain.
Yeah, Sean Penn is in bits, right?
Yeah.
And the hair is all over the place. He's like a mad scientist now, right? And they've filmed it in his Hollywood man cave up in the hills. And he's constantly smoking. And he says to Louis, do you mind if I smoke? And Louis goes, well, he says, I don't care. So he's constantly smoking, and he's the hands are shaking and everything like that. And Louis says, he's still drinking and everything. He said, yeah. I said, vodka tonic, that's just vodka tonic. And Louis saying, like, do you not think maybe you should calm down a little bit on it, and especially with the smoking? And he said he remembers this great German philosopher that said to him once, find something you love and let it kill you.
Oh, gee.
I thought, that's quite deep.
Marriage, is it, Colin? What?
No. There you go. What is it? It's that if you love something so much, then you're going to stay with it, and it probably will kill you in the end. If it's bad for you, if it's good for you, it could kill you as well. He's just saying, if you find something that you really love, stay with it.
It should set you on fire, not kill you.
Yeah,
I don't disagree in terms of the idea of being connected to that, but I don't think people like Sean Penn are not necessarily great meter sticks for us to measure ourselves against, right? Because
who is?
well, exactly.
But who is? I mean, God,
nobody.
He got Madonna.
Well, I remember being upset when he was allegedly beating her because I was allegedly beating her.
You got to listen to it.
But the like Madonna is a whole hill of beans all on her own.
Yeah.
But the thing I feel really deeply, and I hope, like this for me, I like the idea of reincarnation, and I hope we do get reincarnated. And Terry's constantly converting me.
Has converted you?
He's constantly converting me.
Constantly
Every time I turn around, he's left a copy of the Bhagavad Gita somewhere for me to read.
What were you before, Terry?
What was I before?
I could see you as a small hedgehog.
I don't know, actually. Probably a dog, since it's probably gone around licking my own balls.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You can still do that.
Some things you take with you into your next life.
That's brilliant. If you could take one trait into your second life, so whatever animal you are, but you take that into your life as a human, and that's your like superpower. It's not necessarily a superpower, Terry.
It's not. No. It's definitely not a superpower.
Yeah.
No, but it's not always the thing that's why women have one less rib, because if men had that rib removed as well, we could lick our own balls.
Then you
and it's
wouldn't
safe
need
for
us.
women.
Isn't that what Prince did? Wasn't there a big rumor?
No,
going
it wasn't
around
Prince. It was Mark Almond.
And he BJ'd himself.
Mark Almond from
And Michael Jackson.
Tainted Love. What's Soft Cell?
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
I think he actually has to come out and show X-rays of his body to show that he hadn't done that.
Exhausting.
Isn't it
It is,
crazy
but
the
you-
rumors that people actually spread about people?
But regardless, I used to have to be very supple.
I'm double jointed everywhere, but I've never actually tried that.
You're double jointed everywhere.
Everywhere.
Okay, well, turn your head around. Which
All of my joints, all my fingers and toes and ankles and knees and everything bends
The opposite direction?
at quite an extraordinary opposite direction.
That's a little bit creepy.
that is a little bit creepy.
And I have stretchy skin, which is kind of weird.
Wow. Okay.
So
You're like a shit version of the Fantastic Four.
yeah. I'm not of any value to anybody. I can bend my finger, but I'm not going to be able to stop a building falling down.
A shit version.
Sorry.
So
It's a fair synopsis,
Yeah.
Terence. It's a fair synopsis.
the so no, do you know what? There was, I don't know what else, because I was getting quite introspective during the week.
That's not like you.
No, it's not really like me.
No, it's really not.
And it's like, this was something that I can't remember where it was coming, where I was reading this, or was it in one of the podcasts I was listening to? But it was like the fine-tuned version of ourself that we portray and show, even to the person we're married to. You know, now it can be very, very close to who we really are, or it can be a very, very well fine-tuned version. But we never ever, in our entire life, show our true and honest self to anybody else but ourselves.
Well, I would argue that most people don't even show that to themselves.
Okay, well, but if
So most times, most conversations I've had over the years with people, eventually it takes 10, 20 sessions and conversations where they usually start to break down and realize that they haven't been honest with themselves. So then it's like, now I'm being honest with myself. It's amazing, but I think we all lie to ourselves.
is it amazing, or also a little bit dangerous as well? But is it a good thing? It's like that. Jesus, with so many references to movies. This is a shit Mel Gibson movie, but the one where he hears, isn't it where he hears what women want?
Oh, I love that movie.
You know, so is it
fun.
and then the other one, the great Jim Carrey movie, where he has to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
man.
mean they're not great movies, but they're built on a great premise. That if that's the way we were designed as human beings, imagine if we had to tell the truth all the time, as we say to the kids, tell the truth, shame the devil. You know, the world would be more anarchic than it is now.
Would
and I
people
don't think,
be better?
Would it be better?
Would people be better? Would we be better people because we're honest?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think there's a checks and balances mechanism in terms of human behavior, right? You know, if you look at people, humans interact with each other like algorithms. If you go and sit in a coffee shop next door to here, you'll see everybody coming in and people sit down and it's like, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm not too bad. How's the weather? Oh, yeah, jeez. Oh, you never heard last night? No, he said that. Oh, my God. And what did you say? And I said this. Oh, my God. And all we want to do is tell the other person what we think so that they can be outraged on our behalf, so that they can then tell us what they think and we can be outraged on their behalf. And if you listen to conversations, this is all that happens. And then when all the outrage has been declared and the updates are made, we separate. And it's almost like it's like code. We have to just interact with each other at this level and then we separate. And most relationships are vacuous. We don't tell the truth. We don't talk honestly as friends. We don't talk about how we feel. My God, we don't talk about how we feel. And I find personally at this point in my life that I have a few good friends and a few confidants who I talk honestly with, and the rest of the stuff is just window dressing.
Is that, yeah, I mean...
And I'm a cantankerous middle-aged man now.
So,
but,
well, you dress like one.
Thank you.
So,
I have a tie here.
is that the reason that some marriages just operate so well for so long? I mean,
Because they're honest?
No, because they're not.
Transactional.
They're not honest. So I was looking at this because I see couples now. It's like
dead people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I see dead people. I now see couples, older couples, right?
Yeah.
And I find it fascinating to watch them interact or not. And there's quite a lot, like maybe in their 60s, maybe in their 70s, and you get the sense that the other person is there just to lean on at this stage. Like they don't know everything about the other person because nobody ever does, but they've sort of run out of everything.
Yeah,
And
but I
now
think
it's
that's
just transactional. And that's what I'm saying. Now, is that
But that is some relationships.
Jack Nicholson?
It's not all. Like
is this as good as it gets?
There's some people like that. There's some people who aren't.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, no,
I think the
absolutely, yeah.
minority is people who are together and still happy. I think it's a hard thing. I mean, look, polyamory, in terms of human behavior, is the reality, right? You know, we're monogamous behavior is only something that we kind of got into as we started farming land a few thousand years ago, principally just because we needed to keep the land in good order and kept inside a family unit. So we are polyamorous, and principally, you know, we can see that women statistically would have had sex with different men for a human race to survive, because not everybody's sperm is rocking. So, like at our primal base, I think we're probably quite polyamorous. So then the choice to be monogamous is a really tough choice to make.
That's when we stop telling the truth.
I disagree. I think you can still tell the
I
truth.
disagree as
I
well.
think it's a choice theory moment. Like that, Terry?
I loved it.
So
Neve
it's-
will appreciate that.
Neve will like that,
Yeah.
especially for Neve. But it's where you get into that real honest debate around how do we stay monogamous? And in that, I need to talk to you about my sexual needs, my emotional needs, my financial needs.
I'm intrigued by the way you talk like that, but I don't think most couples talk like that.
I totally agree. I don't think they do, but I think they can. But it's hard, right? But equally, being in a relationship that's not great is also hard. So it's a choice of which shit sandwich you want to eat. The one that's hard to swallow in the short term but provides a long term outcome, or the stagnation.
Some people
of
love
what you've always
stagnation. They
accepted.
love living in shit limbo. Some
I'd be
people
quite happy
absolutely
to be
love
back
that.
in that.
No, horrendous.
I think if there's somebody I was talking to recently and they're very young kids. It's not you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Somebody I was talking to about and they're very young kids. And they were talking about their relationship at the start and then they got married. You know, after the 5-6 years of being together, then they got married. And so the 5-6 years together, they were trying to impress each other. So honesty didn't necessarily prevail. But then they found they wanted to get married. Then they had kids. And suddenly their entire life was about the kids and the kids growing up, and the kids going here and the kids going there. And again, rather than have maybe possibly the honest, again, conversation, honesty didn't prevail because they had to bring the kids up. The kids are then gone to college. The kids are then out of the house. And then, as quite often happens, there are two people looking at each other going, how do we get here? Is this as good as it gets?
Well, exactly. But the point being, right, that
But
I
is
think
that not the way most relationships are with children?
I'm not here to comment on other people's relationships.
Oh, I am. I am.
No, I know you are.
But I'm here to judge. Oh, yeah.
You're here to-
You're
I
the
know.
sensible one. I'm the
but I
judge.
think-
Judge Grinder.
I think
Judge
Jesus.
Grinder.
Jesus, never do
so
that
happy.
again. Never do that
Just to be
again.
aware, the camera's not on him at this point.
You literally
Tinder, right?
zoomed.
Tinder.
Judge Grinder has got connotations that I don't really want to think about in terms of where your sexual preferences are leaning now. But
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Grinder, the app. Sorry.
Jesus.
I was just trying to rhyme it with Rinder.
And you're
There we go.
grinding hard. It was-
Okay.
Boomer alert.
And your...
So I said
sorry,
this
just got a
before.
quick alert from Grinder.
Oh, you got a match.
Nice middle-aged man in white shirt. He's only 4
Terry
feet away
Hyde.
from you.
Terry Hyde.
But we had this conversation before in multiple episodes
Yeah,
back, and I always think back to, if I look at wedding photographs and I think about the person that I married, it's so extraordinarily different to the person that I am with today.
Yes.
And I am so extraordinarily different to the person that she married.
Yeah.
And I actually think, we had this conversation a bunch of times before we kind of talk about this. And, both of us have, myself and Beatrice have similar interests in terms of professional leniency. So we talk about mad shit like this. But if we look at it, we can both see an arc of nearly 5 years where you really change as a human being.
5-year itch.
Well, a 5-year evolution, right?
Yeah.
5 years is half a decade. Lots happens. Like if you have kids and they're 0, by the time they're 5, they're now in school. That's quite different. By the time they're 10, they're coming to the end of primary school and it's going to go to secondary school. That's different. Another 5 years' time, they're getting ready to finish school. And 5 years' time after that, they're in college, right? But in that path, lots of things happen. So the economy changes, the pressures on the household change, the money flow changes, the sex, the excitement, the love changes. And unless you are kind of willing to meet each other through those changes and recognize that it's vacuous and pointless to say you're not the person that I married, because quite frankly, neither are you.
And that's a good reason to split.
Well, it's a good reason to split.
That's probably why a lot of relationships split.
Exactly. But actually, if before you get to that point, because you failed to communicate, you actually said, hey, I know I haven't spoken about this and we haven't had sex in a year or 18 months, but maybe we should talk about that. Like people get into this idea of, oh, we'll separate. I'm not having sex with you. You're not having sex with me. We're all going to just not have sex. and then they wonder why the whole thing falls apart. If you choose to realize that everybody changes and have a conversation about what does that mean, and maybe it does mean it's the end, but it can also be the beginning if you're open to it.
Yeah, and maybe on the other side, again, I'm not here to judge people.
But you do it very well.
But I do it very well. I don't do it very well. I just do it. There's no art in it. So maybe it's better that some people don't. I mean, you're a very articulate person, and you have a very articulate relationship with your wife, and your wife is a very articulate person who has an articulate conversation back with you.
Jesus.
I know there's a lot of articulation going on
A
there.
lot of trucks.
But a lot, but there's but you're very lucky because that's not the case in most.
I'm not lucky.
Marriages that
I'm
I
not
see.
lucky. I'm not lucky. I'm not lucky.
But I'm saying if
I'm
you
not
dig,
lucky.
I say
the harder I work, the
yeah.
luckier I get. Your relationship is hard work.
I know.
Me
but
and
I'm-
Rebecca were only discussing that before we started the podcast. We literally said that all relationships are hard.
It's hard.
And a marriage is a commitment to working through the hard shit together, because you're not going to agree on everything that your wife likes, and she's not going to agree on everything you like. But if you want to stay together, we were only talking about how the young people nowadays don't get married because they don't want to deal with the hard shit of the other person. They
They
just
just
want to
think
do
it's
their own.
awful. They're like, ugh,
Yeah,
gross.
but I think as well, let's say after 20, 25 years of marriage, and it's going okay, and there's transactional, and you both enjoy each other's company, and there's occasional
Well,
sex.
sorry, not all people do. It's lovely that you enjoy. Like some
No, no,
people really
but
don't
this-
even.
This is my point. What I'm saying is that I think if those couples really dug deep into what it is they have, they'd probably find out that they don't have much together. And then that's sometimes the reason that they go, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't be here. I think some couples that just sort of glide along and remain happy because they're both gliding along, they're probably, they end up in a better place.
But
You know?
here's an idea. What would it be like to go home tonight and say to your spouse, how about over the next 48 hours?
We have sex every 10 hours.
That was directed at you, Beatrice.
a good.
My friend did that. They had sex every day for a week because things were really bad, and they realized they weren't compatible anymore.
Really?
There you
Just
go.
both sore.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean, look,
How dry are you?
if you're not having sex and if you don't find that there's sex going on, then you're not compatible, right? Your
What would-
relationship's not going to sustain. Somebody's
Sad.
going to go and take it elsewhere.
Where
Right?
were you going to? Where were you going
That's a
to?
certainty. I was
say
going to
it.
say, if you go home
Yeah.
and you say to your spouse, okay, over the next 48 hours, how about we both bring back to the kitchen table, no phones, no alcohol, no kids, no nothing. Bring back to the table 3 things that each one of us wants that would make this relationship materially better than it is right now. And we discuss those points to see what
Are they
look like.
material things?
What if somebody brings something spiritual?
No, I don't mean. I mean material, as in like the materiality of them is important.
And what if
Like,
they
it could
can't
be
bring
like,
it?
I want to change house. I want to have more sex. I don't feel like you're open with me.
And what if they can't meet you with that?
What if they can't what?
What if they can't meet you with that? What if they look at you? What if you look at your life partner and the dad of your kids or the wife, the mum of your kids, and they say, well, I can't do that.
Well,
I don't want to do date nights Friday, and I actually don't want to have sex that much. I'm not that interested, and I don't really want to talk about your finance. Like, what if they cannot meet you with that?
What if you can't bring 3 things to the table? I'm actually no, seriously. I'm sitting here trying to. Okay,
Everyone can bring 3 things to the table: a pillar, a value, a want. Everyone can.
I think everybody can, and I think if you're in a relationship with somebody who can't meet you on a middle ground where everybody's trying to improve things, then you got to think, why am I here?
Oh,
Yeah, I agree.
sad,
I
isn't
agree.
it?
Yeah, it's a sad
It's
thing,
sad,
but
but like,
it's
why?
the truth. It's
why?
the truth.
Why are you there? Like, what's?
Because of children, and I think people get stuck.
is this as good as it gets?
I agree, and I think people
Don't even
do
think
get
it's
stuck
about
because
money.
of children. But I can tell you, I've had so many conversations with people who, with people in their 30s and 40s who were in those relationships where their parents were just ships in the night, and it's not a good outcome. So as Del Boy says, honesty is the best policy. Doesn't mean that we're honest to people all the time. I agree with you. We're not constantly, I'm not going to tell Beatrice every neurotic thought that I have in the hope that she feels happier about being with me. That's not going to be a good outcome, right?
Yeah.
Date night.
Nobody wants to know what's going on in there, right? But I do think on the big stuff, you know, we can be honest, we can be vulnerable, but if we're not getting our needs met, you know, it ain't gonna work, baby.
I think back and yeah, we were honest, and there was a lot of times we had to be very honest with each other. We didn't bring it up every week about how are you today and where's your head, or every 5 years. And I do believe now, I said this earlier on off the podcast, and you guys said I'm looking at life with rose-tinted glasses. But I think I was very lucky and very fortunate to have a spectacularly uncomplicated woman. And I mean that in the best possible way. That she, when there was problems with us or when there was issues, she would come back with very simplistic ways of approaching it and working on it and either making it work or not. It was never overly complicated. And I think it was as part of her matriarchal upbringing when she had to bring up her brothers and sisters as well, because her mum died when she was quite young. And I just thought, if I was with a more complicated woman, we wouldn't have lasted 5 years.
Or she might have been more challenging and exciting. You never know.
I just don't know if my brain could take that. I think it's the yin and the yang sometimes, isn't it? We often talk about that. I think I needed, this may sound rude, I think I needed Anne's yang and she needed my yin.
Yeah, I think it's the known unknowns, right? You don't know what it's going to be like with anybody else until you're there. And you equally can't compare to what it would have been like with anybody else, because
exactly
that's who you were with,
yes.
Right? So I think it's just, from my perspective, I think one of the most important things in my life is to remember before I go to sleep at night that I can be grateful. And I think gratitude is so compelling. And even though Anne's not here, you can still be as you are, and I find that really quite moving. You can still be extraordinarily grateful for the time that you had. And I think that's beautiful.
Gratitude is the attitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is the attitude.
I think we
baby.
find a level. I've often thought about that. You know what I mean? We're like, I'm full. And she was half full. Again, I'm not demeaning in any way, but, and then you put both of all my fullness and her half fullness into a tank, and that's why it finds its level. But if we'd both been full and we put it into the tank, it would have spilled over.
It depends on the quantum volume of the tank versus the vessels carrying your full and half full. But yes,
mine's an esoteric.
Also, I like a volcano. I like one that spills over.
Huh?
I like a bit of spilling over.
I don't mind spilling over outside. I don't
In public.
I don't. I don't think I liked knowing that when I got home and sat down with Anne, that the tank had stopped.
I think a
spilling
lot
over.
of men like that. They want the men that cheat or the men who are looking elsewhere want that excitement and that sexy time, that
No,
drama.
I'm not talking about excitement or sexy
No, but I'm
time.
saying they
Yeah.
want it externally. They want to go home to a calm and safe and happy space.
No, you know what?
I think women don't want that. They don't want that.
I just want all my life to be calm now. Do you know?
well, that's a choice, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's just down to how we wake up and engage with the world.
Yeah.
You know, if we wake up and we engage chaotically, that's what it gives us. It's hard, but it's
If we engage what? Sorry, what did you say?
chaotically.
Oh, chaotically.
So
sorry.
we have to kind of engage pragmatically and slowly, and like landing here today, getting this done. I think we all have to have purpose and process. But I think the gratitude point, and I think it's wonderful. I think for anybody, it's important to be grateful for what you have, because it can be taken away from you in a moment.
That's yeah.
And then add into that, have a difficult conversation around a cup of tea. Don't do it in the pub or a date night. Say, hey, what's the 3 things that we could both bring to the table in the next 48 hours that could make our relationship better?
Should
Have
we
that
talk
chat.
about those in the after show? Should I think now about the 3 things?
Maybe we should talk about 3 things that you could bring to our relationship.
Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah, and not red wine this time.
Not red wine.
Kind of red wine, Terry.
Yeah.
So is that it? Yeah, we need
Okay.
everyone to jump in, like, subscribe,
Follow.
Look, Justin's made an effort. He's wearing a white shirt.
Wearing a white shirt today.
So go over on YouTube or Spotify and you'll see it. You'll see his white shirt. This should be a cut on its own. If that's no reason to listen to us, what can we do? Next time, I guarantee you he'll take his trousers off.
Oh God.
Oh, God, no. Okay. I'm Colm Hayes. He's Justin Caffrey. We are brothers, and that was Not So Christian Brothers.